And good evening, everyone. Welcome back. We're going to try round two. Hindi part two. Round two. My guest tonight is Ian Pagkanlungan, Head of Corporate Training for Sante International. Just to be very clear, I don't think we were able to mention this. This is like a casual chat between me and a fellow trainer, speaker. He's been in the network marketing industry for about 20 years already. So his views do not represent his company in any way. Para clear na lang, we're just we're just having a chat, and we'll see where we go. I'm live on my page, and I'm live also on my personal account and on YouTube as well. For those of you who want to comment on my personal account, you have to grant StreamYard permission. If you want to comment, hindi kayo makapag-comment, go to my page. I'm live there. I think on my page makapag-comment kayo. Now, just a gist of what we've been talking about. I was asking him about how come some people are very reactive to a certain post on social media. May nabasa sila na news, and they get to share so easily, whether it's fake news, kulang ng practice ng due diligence, which is to research if the sources are credible. I'm not saying that we're perfect. We'll all make mistakes, but to at least double check. He was mentioning about also his background in mass communication, and also in wanting to cross check facts and stuff like that. So bago kami maputo, we were talking about Rambo, and I was asking him how he got into this a way of thinking or a mindset where he sort of like questions a lot of things, and it got really deep with the comments from my viewers as well. But if you're here, I'm glad you're here again. Yep, and here he is again, Mr. Ian. Welcome to the live stream.
Hi, Coach. I hope this continues. No, wala nang interruption. Sorry, we were talking about Rambo. No,
That's right.
I don't know if they can still pick up the story, but I'm talking about Rambo. Kasi my point there, what I was talking about was I have a different view on things, really. So, halimbawa, if I see Rambo, marami siyang pinatay. Di ba, normally nakaka-relate tayo dun sa bida. And the family and the hurt and the feelings of the bida. Ito weird. Alam mo how my mind works? Sabi ko yung napatay ni Rambo, di ba may asawa din yun? Anak din yun. Anak din yun. I mean, these are villains, but of course the film is showing just one side of the story. That kaaway of Rambo can be one good person also.
Yeah.
Rambo is just to give you how my mind works, Coach.
Bro,
yeah.
No, it's because obviously it's not going to be enough time for us ngayon kasi I can do 3-4 hours na ganitong usapan, bro. Eto, I have to say this. I have to say this, Ian. You are an alien. Iba ka mag-isip. And I mean that in a good way. Si Tatiana, who I've worked with coaching, she does coaching as well. She also mentioned that, sabi niya, bago ka mawala, she commented dun sa kabilang feed. Sabi niya, I wonder why about those people na pinapatay ni Rambo. Like, hindi ba din sila, like, aren't they also possibly, may families then? And why do they? And then, bro, eto, I know you can pick up from this. Sabi ko, this is something that I heard from one of the speakers that I've been listening to for a long time. See, Wayne Dyer, who's already passed. But sabi niya, if you look at history, he's talking about American setting. Sabi niya, we've always been taught who to hate. We've been taught to hate the Germans. We've been taught to hate the Vietnamese. We've been taught to hate the Russians. We've been taught to hate now people from the Middle East, and of course, African Americans. But sabi niya, you're just going to notice that it's always something being passed down sa atin, bro. And very few people actually get to a space where they question, Mommy, Dad, Ma, why are we hating these people? Or the extreme of that is, why are we loving only these people? Because maybe they're your tribe, brother. Yung iba hindi mo katribo, Ian, so don't love them. They're not your tribe. They're not your faith. They're lesser. We're greater. Maybe you want to share a little bit about that also, bro. Kasi alam ko nandiyan na yung ano mo.
Tama yung, Coach. It was passed down to us. Everything is learned. So, na-absorb natin. The way we talk, the way we think, the way we act, our whole culture is passed on, and we don't know how much of it was really intentionally controlled, and that is why, so 400 years of us being under the Spanish rule, we were not really trained to be to believe in ourselves. No? Dala-dala natin hanggang ngayon we are the number one exporter of, sad to say, domestic helpers. Na ano natin yan, I mean, bata pa tayo. Aliping na mamahay, aliping sa gigilid, 400 years. No? We were slaves in our own country for 400 years. And still right now, we're the number one exporter of, sad to say, modern slaves. I mean, diba, one time in Indonesia, a Filipina was described as a maid. That's sad. That's sad. This is learned. This is just learned, Coach. I haven't researched too much on that, pero ako, sobrang ano sa akin, sobrang linaw sa akin. Even our name, even the Philippines, our country is named after a dead king of Spain of 100 years ago. So, are we really sovereign? I mean, are we really free?
Yeah.
We haven't even thought of our name. Yeah. Sorry.
And now there's this. No, maganda to. And now, interestingly enough, bro, mas madaming viewers ngayon. Kasi kanina we've doubled in size, interestingly. So this will be good. Hi, Myra. I'm glad you're tuning in, dropping by, I'm glad you're here. You like this topic. Because now, now there's this, kami lang ni Ian magkukwentuhan ng ganito online. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this, aside from some perhaps news media journalists asking these questions. But so now there's this issue of China, and us losing our sovereignty. Syempre, pinag-uusapan din yan. Okay, so wait lang. So I want to make sure I'm greeting everyone. Mami Alma from Iloilo. So meron ng affirmation for you. I love the speaker's mindset. Now I know I'm not alone. She is very outspoken about this as well. So Tati says, acquired taste, yes. Oh gosh, I think he froze again. Sayang, this is so meaty. I hope he'll unfreeze. Let's see. And for those of you who are joining us, this is actually our second. Ayan, he's still here. Itatanggalin na kita, tapos babalik kita para mag-refresh yung mo, brother. Para mag-refresh ka. Wait lang. So, this is actually our second attempt. Kasi kanina we were getting into this thing like Rambo. So who watches Rambo? I'll let him refresh lang his Sino sa inyo nanonood kayo ng movies and you're wondering like why are people killing just anyone that you're seeing? Yung hero, the hero or the heroine. We rarely ever question why they're killing other people. Like we just take it like no, kalaban yan. And this is something I think okay na si Ian. Okay ka na ba, Ian? Thumbs up ka lang. I'll put you back into. I can see him in the back room, but I'll put you back up if you're okay. But again, we rarely ever question who we hate, who we love. But mommy, who should we love? Oh, you should love only these people. Why? Well, because there are people, there are faith, there are religion. Like, what about others? And I'm not saying this is for, like I said, this is a very sensitive topic. But how many of you, maybe just like me, have been guilty of this, where it's not just about hatred, but it is also about who we will love, who we will respect, and this is something that Ian and I wanted to get into. I might bring in another while Ian he's refreshing acquired taste. I also wanted to ask him about this one. I had a conversation with my friend a while ago as well, and we were talking about ako kasi like when I share in this platform, I'm always trying to observe people's mindsets. Like we all have different mindsets. But those of us who challenge, I think, the norm, those of us who question things, I think it's very important. Parang, like you go throughout history, and those of us who do not question usually get oppressed, right? That's why, and this is so sensitive, but with all due respect to people who are watching, I think that the main point of the broadcast and this topic tonight is to get people to really thinking about why we do what we do. How about that one? So why we do what we do. So I'll bring him back here into the stream. And again, I hope we get through this. So Ian, like just to pick off din sa ano natin, I'm glad nakabalik ka kanina, hindi ka nakabalik. But
Yeah.
in conversation ko with my friend kanina, sabi niya, you know, Bam, she said, you know what I hate? Sabi ko, what do you hate? I hate sir. I hate ma'am. Like, what do you mean? You know, because I still use sir, you know, when people are delivering water, I just say, no, thank you, sir. I just say it, you know. But sabi niya, no, I mean, especially when it has to be with someone na nakataas sa atin, it's still like a colonial mentality. She was saying something na ganun, bro, na, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Parang even with school daw, we call people sir and ma'am. When in other Western, and again, I know people, kaya sabi ko controversial to Ian, people say, well, kayong dalawa, well, it's about respect. Respect your elders. Respect this, respect that. So, I mean, I'm sharing it to you, bro, because these are things that, you know, it's sort of like, dito gumagana yung isip ko nga, I never thought of it that way. You know, we just accept certain things. And I know there's a lot of things that you do that I do until now. We haven't, like, if titignan natin, we'll get paranoid. Like, what am I, etong shirt ko, etong ano, we're all part of this system. I know, but not to get that paranoid. I mean, to zero in on certain things. Maybe, sige, bro, I'll let you talk a little bit more about that as I go through their comments.
Yeah, everything's controlled. I mean, the way we look at ourselves, what's beautiful, what's not, what's right, what's wrong. It's scary when people are totally in control of everything. Baka maputol tayo, coach. Kaya medyo bibilisan ko na dun sa pinag-usapan natin kanina. Am I still on?
Okay? Yeah, you're still on. You're still on. Oh, yeah.
Coach.
Yeah, you're still on, bro. Medyo naglalag lang. Ang ganda ng topic na to. Long lag tonight. Anyway, we're almost we have almost 20 people, over 20 people watching here, YouTube. I know there's more, but my numbers are not coming out accurately. Gosh. Anyway, if I don't want to do this topic alone, I want to have this with a conversation with Ian, but I hope he gets to refresh again. I think so. Tati says I think different than because of the fight, ang daming nasira na surroundings nila. Yeah, but this is like I said, this is so important to talk about. It's the same thing. Yeah, I know, Mommy Alma. I apologize for that. This is something that Marsha Rosenberg talks about as well. Sabi niya, you growing up, we are given certain standards. You know, like he was Jewish, and he knows what it was like to be bullied in school. Like, how many of you have experienced that na bully kayo, or maybe you're the one who bullied other people? You know, and the question is like, why did you bully them? Maybe because you heard, you know, someone in your family, friends that were saying that you know, that there's you know, people are making fun of other people because of how they look, because of their social status, because of you know, a disability or something. And that's why this really breaks my heart. I mean, there was a story of this kid who actually died. I think it was in the UK, where he you know, he killed himself because he was being bullied for, I think it was a speech impediment or something like that. And my heart really breaks because ito na yung sinasabi namin, because you look different, you sound different, pinagtatawanan yung accent mo, pinagtatawanan yung I don't know, whatever it is that we laugh about. Now, I understand like how guilty I am of this as well, especially in my unawareness. And I'm checking, like, you know, this is also not to be like oversensitive with a lot of things, but I think this is just bringing in awareness, especially for a lot of you here who have children. And I remember this. I'll tell a story about my son when he was around 5 or 6 years old. But I'll read Myra's comment first. Tati said she was also bullied in school. I know. I mean, it's difficult. But then I say, like, where does all this bullying come from? Well, I would say meron tayong barkada, and then we're seeing someone who's different. Maybe they speak a little bit slower. Maybe they don't smile. Maybe they're not as outspoken. Then we have a tendency to speak badly about them because they're different, you know. But this is something that's not taught. So I think having I don't know, in school or at home, of course, it's a tandem yan eh. Myra can speak a lot about this. To be able to give children an exercise or an experience of what kindness looks like. Now, ito, and I'll throw this out to all of you who are watching. But where do we find kindness? Like, where do we see it? I mean, isn't it always like where either what is this, yung parang tinataas natin yung sarili natin over a certain people, or we lower ourselves over others, and then there's a struggle there because we're either superior or we're inferior, and it creates a lot of and we're this is the unrest that we're all experiencing. And kaya nga sabi ko I think God bless those families who are out there, or even individuals who are out there trying to share, I guess, awareness around this subject and topic. I'm not saying that we're perfect. I am saying that we're all working towards that. And if I make a mistake, if I did exhibit that bullying behavior, then I apologize. I'm so sorry, and I want to look for ways to make it better. I think that's so important as well. But also to understand, I think that's why I'll mention a little bit about Christ, where he said, forgive them for they do not know what they're doing. They're already murdering him and killing him. But I think it had to do also with highlighting how unaware people were. So I'm sorry to hear that you were bullied in school, Tati. Sige, I'll read Nanay Myra's comment. Before I leave, let me say this. Kindness stems from the experience of having nothing or being treated badly, that there is this one person who showed you. Yeah, exactly. Yun yung point ko, Myra, empathy and kindness, and best learned here. I know that God planted people all over the world. Like, when I travel, sabi ko, I have this affirmation, like kindness surrounds me wherever I go. And whether people say, oh, people there are not so kind, and I say, but that might be an experience that we're also creating. Hi, Ate Cynthia. Nandiyan din yung speaker ko sa Laguna. Yeah, my son also bullied by playmates. Yun nga. So to be able to share kindness. Now this is also difficult because we're talking about kindness, and then the next step, dito na napunta yung topic. Ian, if you're here, just let me know. I'll put you back. And then this is where do we draw the line between kindness, and there's a lot of parents watching here, and teaching your children to stand up against bullies, which I know, again, like I said, it's a very sensitive topic. But where do you draw the line? Kasi sabi ko nga, if we do not stand up to the bullies, then we will get bullied. That's why a lot of you are speaking out against the bullies, the bullies that are happening in life today that we're seeing. And I believe that's very important as well. But unfortunately, also the way the world is designed, the bullies have always been there. But it's also an opportunity for us to come together, I guess, and I won't say fight the bully, because I believe that, but I think to create more awareness around a different way of doing life. One classic example for me, if you're not familiar with Nelson Mandela, I think he was put in prison for 20, 21 years, something like that. Please give me the exact number. But when he was set free, he never retaliated. This is in Africa, South Africa, I believe. But he never retaliated in violence or anger. But it was about he preached forgiveness and love. So a lot of us will say, hindi ka na makareconnect. It's okay, brother. Sayang, but it's a great topic. A lot of people. So maybe I'll just wrap this up tonight. Sabi ko naman kanina, Coach, it'll also give me chance to rest tonight. But I feel better because I think this is such an important topic to talk about. Where was I? Oh yeah, Nelson Mandela. I mean, there are people who become models of peace and kindness. I think that's so important. There was another person that I had. Viktor Frankl, who was he was part of the Holocaust. He was imprisoned as well in one of the concentration camps in Auschwitz. And there were other. He was transferred to other camps as well. He wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning, and he said, those of us who survive the worst atrocities committed against human beings are those who have a reason or a meaning to live. Whether it's your family, whether it's God, whether it's something. But it was also interesting. You'll hear a lot of stories about people who went through a lot of cruelty and abuse and pain, and still got to step into forgiveness. They got to forgive people who hurt them, and I think this is I won't say it's like supernatural. I think what's natural for all of us is naging natural na lang sa atin to, to revenge and act revenge, to hurt people, to fight, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Pag sinampal ka, sabunutan mo, pag sinuntok ka, papatayin mo na. And violence has become so rampant, I think, especially this is what we were talking about in the country as well. And then see, ito nga, tingnan mo, hindi marunong mag-Tagalog. My tita saying he was bullied because he couldn't speak Tagalog. Ito, hindi ka marunong mag-English, you'll get bullied. Hindi ka marunong mag-Tagalog, you'll get bullied. But where does that, where does it come from? Where does it stem from? Of course, there's other kids, and other kids are influenced by their parents or by their guardians or by other people. So I think being able to, forever anyone who gets to listen to this, I think that'll be the sharing tonight. It'll be about awareness of planting kindness wherever you are, wherever you're planted, or as a who's the author? Norman Vincent Peale said, "Bloom where you're planted, and where you're planted today is your home, your family, your work. Practice kindness there." But it's difficult, especially pag may pinagtatawanan na kayong tao, because we will make fun of people and we think it's in our culture. And I'm guilty of this as well. And I'm constantly searching, like, where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? It's difficult because for other people we might think it's harmless, it's okay, but other people are already being hurt. Friedrich Nietzsche: one must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. It's interesting that you share that quote, Mommy Alma, because it's something that I've been my own soul searching the past 2 weeks has been about that. Nietzsche said, another quote from Nietzsche. This is from, I'm trying to remember. I read so many things. I can't remember what specific book this was from. But there's another quote from Nietzsche. Sabi ni Nietzsche, like, my hope for people is that they would go through like the worst conditions of life. I think it was from I remember from Tom Bilyeu of Impact Theory. Sabi niya, my hope for people is that they would go through suffering and the pain and all this like really bad stuff. Because I'm paraphrasing. Because when they go through it, there they will find parang, because he was an atheist, but there they will find like redemption for their soul, or there they will find their freedom. It's not in the comfort of all goodness. It's a difficult message to share, but it was about that. So, but he meant really well, because that's where we see compassion and kindness. But I learned another thing, Myra, Mommy Alma, and everyone who's here. I appreciate you guys. Where we try to get rid of one thing, like I want to try to get rid of hatred, Mommy Alma. I want to try to get rid of violence. But you're gonna notice every time mas naintindihan ko na ito. Every time you're pushing against something, there's always the opposite that comes up. Like it's like a hydra. Pag diba, Nanay Myra, you cut off this head, and then there's 3 more or 5 more that sprouts out. You're trying to cut off violence, but why does it, like Colombia happened with with the drug stuff there, Mexico. There's a lot of examples, I think, in the Philippines as well, when it's not about just chopping heads off, because there'll be more heads of violence coming up, But I think it is also about understanding the push and pull of life. That's why there are those of you, I'm speaking to a select group of people out there who are really sharing kindness, who are teaching about emotional literacy, understanding your feelings, so that you don't abuse your spouse, so that you don't abuse your children, so you don't abuse your employees, whatever. Why not? Because therein lies the very thing you're fighting against. You're fighting against violence, but you're creating it in your own home. You're fighting against violence, but you're creating it in your own company. That very thing you hate, you're also perpetrating that. So yeah, well, but it goes deeper than that. It goes deeper than that. How deep? As deep as understanding that the opposite will always exist in life. And the more we think that I can be happy for, di ba napansin niyo yan? I mean, those of us who are older, we know there's never a point where we're always happy. There's always some hurt or pain that comes along with the joy we're feeling. But what if, and this is again the focus of my studies, what if that's exactly how life was designed? You're meant to go through pain. You're meant to go through that hurt. You're meant to go through all of these things. Why? But because the opposite is also there. That you're meant to go through love. You're meant to go through goodness and joy and peace and kindness. But if you're only in one extreme, I like DeMartini's sample dito. Let me know what you guys think. Sabi niya, if you just met someone who was just all good and all pure and all wonderful, no sin and this and that, I'm like describing God, but like as a person, sabi niya, a lot of you would be very doubtful and suspicious. Like there's no one exists like that. Like I'm all the best things and all the good things. Follow me. I'm all, diba? Sabi niya, you'd be very wary of that person because no such person exists, short of God, in human form. So he talks about that. But if you come up as someone who is fallible, is ano to, makes mistakes as a parent, as a mom, as a son, as a daughter. I mean, babalik lang yan eh. You as parents, you're experiencing guilt. But guess what? Your children will become parents one day. They'll also experience their own guilt. They're also modeling you. That's something that I wrote in an article. They're modeling you. And what if the way you treat your spouse today is the way they treat their spouse in the future? Because they're seeing it in you. It's so important. The way they treat their classmates will be the way you treat them, or the way you treat whoever. I mean, because they're constantly watching. But Ian, I appreciate you, brother. I'm sorry that he can't get back. So I just wanted to monologue for my guests tonight. But we're definitely going to continue. But Mami Ama, Nietzsche is one of the he's a favorite person to quote of a lot of people, because there's a lot of wisdom actually that he shares. Quite interesting. Remember, every time we have reunion, my son and your son gets along. Yes, Gracie, who's celebrating his birthday. So ito si Nanay Myra. I tell my son never ever use physical violence to protect himself from bullies. This is going to be interesting. I want to read this. But if the bully won't stop, paano pag ang kulit-kulit? They're calling you names. They're going right to your face. Let's see. I told him he has my back if he needs to put a stop to it. Surprisingly, he punched a third grader's nose when he was still in kindergarten, because the older kid kept teasing him to his female seatmate despite my son telling him to stop. So after weeks of ignoring, he got fed up. Then he reported as soon as I picked him up. I told him to apologize. The third grader stopped teasing him. What else? Stop teasing him. Okay, sure. She's gonna continue pa. Putol yung message mo, Nanay Myra. So this is difficult. But I think for those of us who, many of us who speak against violence, about like we say, the way this country is being run, the violence so rampant, human life has become so cheap, which is true. But also maybe the opposite is also true. I think in-explore ko ngayon, like I said, it's not for everyone. But maybe human life is also being more valued, Maybe human life is also being more precious. And that's for those people who are speaking up and trying to create this experience where it'll be safe for our children and our children's children and this and that. But it'll be a long discussion and explanation. He who fights with monsters might take care lest he thereby become a monster. Yeah, well, you become that which you hate the most. And if you gaze for long into an abyss, the abyss gazes also onto you. Wow, I love your quotes tonight, Mami Ama, especially around Nietzsche. Accepting that the opposite exists in life brings peace. Yeah. So maybe I'll wrap up with this. So John DeMartini says, and I'm only quoting him because it's also something that I'm learning in life, where he says, I've given up the thought of being happy because it made me sad. It made me miserable. Like how many of you, like in your pursuit of happiness, you lost yourself, you got more depressed because it's something that you don't pursue, but it's something, and now it's all coming together for me. Life is something that you totally immerse yourself into the present moment, like whatever it is that's happening now. And the moment that your mind comes up again and the mind distracts you to start thinking about so many things and makes you worried about so many things, then you get caught up in this thing they call the egoic mind. The egoic mind, it's very similar to your amygdala hijack, where you cannot come up with any solutions, but it's just constantly overthinking. And the overthinking is what actually kills you. It's what's actually hurting a lot of people, because we can't get into a state where we think clearly. So maybe as I wrap this up tonight, the reflection might be tonight, looking at your immediate environment, people around you, people you interact with on a daily basis. Well, what is their experience with you like? is it a taste of heaven when they're with you, or is it taste of hell? I think it's something, and it's not about perfection. But I would say, what if there was a balance between both? The heaven exists in you, but also the hell. That's why I said, I posted this the other day with my topic on narcissism. I said, that also exists in me. Goodness exists in me, but I also see the potential for evil. I also see the potential to hurt people. I don't deny it, not at all. But I think what's causing a lot of people that struggle today, the depression, is to deny, I'm not as spiritual as I make myself out to be. I'm not as good as I make myself out to be. But you never were. You never were. But you created this illusion that you were, and it's causing you a lot of pain. Um, I'm glad that you guys joined tonight. I apologize that my guest couldn't make it, but I'm glad the second part I was able to share a little bit about my thoughts on what I've been focusing on, what I've been learning the past weeks as well. I'm grateful, Mami Alma, Nanay Myra, Tati, and everyone else was able to join this second round. I miss you guys. I appreciate Gabriel. Thank you for your prayer. Thanks for praying for Tito Bam. I'll see you guys again soon. I have more guests lined up. I want to keep doing this. Hopefully, I'll be doing it more frequently, and just talk to different people every night, or twice a week. Everyone on YouTube, thanks for watching. Everyone on my personal account, I'm grateful for you guys. I'll see you again. God bless you. Remember, both sides exist always at the same time. So stop beating yourself up. Be kind to yourself. God bless, and I'll see you soon.